Hello, and welcome to Module 6 of Linking Literacy and Assessment. This week we are talking about culturally and linguistically diverse students. And this is a really important topic because our country in one of the last census realized that actually minority, if you put them all together in one group, minorities make up more of the population than the Caucasian population. So it's really important for you as a teacher to know how we can better serve this large population of students that you will encounter for sure when you are teaching. Now, the last several weeks we have talked about informal assessments of reading, emergent readers, beginning readers, fledgling readers, and developing readers. And you've already turned in your assessment-based instruction plans. I am going to review those and give feedback as quickly as possible because this information, this feedback that I give you is going to really help you on your assignment that's due in this module, in Module 6. So be sure that when you get the grade for that, you don't just look at the grade, go to the feedback section and check that out. Look for my comments that are within the document and also in the feedback section. Check out the rubric and see exactly which boxes, if you did lose a couple of points, where you lost those. If you review that and correct those mistakes, you're going to do a lot better on this next assignment because it is a little bit similar. I did mention in the very beginning of the course that choosing an English language learner for your subject when you're tutoring is going to help you significantly reduce the time and workload at some point in the course, and this is that week, or this is that module for you if you did choose an English language learner. And if you didn't choose an English language learner for your tutoring session, that's fine too. You have a couple of options. You can choose an English language learner to assess for just this module and then go back to your other student for the rest of the course. Or I have created some videos for you of me giving the assessments to an English language learner, and I've included some background information about this little girl. What you would do is watch those videos, have the teacher copies already printed out and in front of you, and you be marking along on those as if you were the instructor giving those tests to the student, and you will score them. So you have lots of options. It's perfectly acceptable to choose any of the three. Okay. But what you're doing for this assignment is you're going to be giving 3 tests: concepts about print, alphabet knowledge, and dictation. Now, if you've already given those tests, that's great. Don't give them again. Use that information, use those copies, and even go ahead and copy and paste what you used from your assessment-based instruction assignment if it applies, and copy and paste it into this assignment if it applies. Remember to incorporate the feedback though, so it will be completely accurate. And what you're going to do is, for each one of those tests, you're going to give a summary of the results. You're going to give an analysis of the responses. Now, we did a little bit of this in our discussion board when we were talking about the running records. We analyzed the mistakes the children made on the running records, and so you're going to be doing this in this section as well. Now, I do want to mention, if you have an older reader, some of these tests are probably going to be a bit easy. That's okay. These are a requirement for the course. Give them anyway and then write them up as well as you can. If you feel that you have some other information that you could add that would be beneficial, then please add that too. A really important component of this project is that you need to talk about the child's limited English proficiency and how that impacts these test results. So we're not going to talk about this child as if it is a traditional child, because the child is not. It's an English language learner, and that's the whole purpose of this assignment. And you will have some great reading this week that will talk about English language learners. It'll help you talk about the impact of the child's language on how they perform on these tests. Um, so with that, you need to talk about how, as a teacher, you would compensate for that in your classroom. What sort of instructional activities would you do to help this child do better given their background? Um, and I do want to mention that a lot of people in the past have talked about the child's culture and language as if it's a negative thing, and it's really not. What we do as teachers is we take what they know and we use it to help them know more. A lot of these children have these wonderful cultures, backgrounds, and languages that can actually help them learn more with English. You just have to make those connections and help them make those connections. So that's what I'm talking about. That there. Um, what you're going to do is give 3 to 5 instructional strategies that you would use that would then help the child perform better the next time they take the test. So these are instructional strategies because they will be taking these tests again at the end of our course, and we're hoping to see improvements. This assignment is 3 to 5 pages long, and that is in addition to the results pages. So you're going to, like the other assignments, scan in the results the child produced and the score sheets and summary sheets, and then 3 to 5 pages written up about that, talking about the things that I just mentioned. This is a professional piece, okay? So this is like as if you're writing to your professor or a principal. You're maybe for an IEP meeting, of and maybe for a portfolio or something like this. So this is a professional piece. You're going to use professional language, educational jargon, and definitely quotes from the readings. And when you're talking about the recommendations and the analysis and all that, you don't need to be pulling this information out of thin air, out of your head. This is right there in the reading. So don't reinvent the wheel here. Do those readings, and this is really going to help you. It would also be helpful to go back and read the chapter that applies to your students' reading ability level. So if you have a beginning reader, go back to that chapter and just kind of skim it, see if there's some information there that could help your child. So with that first section of this assignment, you're going to write professionally. This is 3 to 5 pages, and a lot of this stuff, if you're using the same child, can be copied and pasted. But just be sure that you're talking about the 3 tests that you were supposed to give, the concepts about print, alphabet knowledge, and dictation, and that you're answering all the questions that are presented to you. So you may need to add a little bit, but a big chunk of it you've probably already done. Now, the second part of this assignment is called a communication report, and this is a fictitious letter. You are not actually going to send this out, and this is for the parents of the child. So when you're writing to the parents, you're not going to use all this educational jargon because they may not know it. Not everybody is, trained in education. Running records, I mean, even we get confused with that. So be sure to use just layman's terms that they can understand. And what you'll be doing is, and you don't need quotes for this part. You wouldn't put quotes in a letter to parents. What you're going to do is talk about the tests that were given. Go ahead and give just a brief description of the test, what they were asked to do, and then the results of that test. For both of these assignments, the communication report and the first assignment, you do need to give numerical data for the results. And then what you're going to do is give the parents 5 recommendations of things that they can do at home with the child to help them improve. And when we give these suggestions, we need to make sure that they're things we know that parents can do at home. So we need to make sure that they have the tools available to do them. Let's not put using a chalkboard and chalk if we know that they don't have those materials at home, or maybe you can get them for them at the dollar store and present them with the letter fictitiously. Let's not put a website that would help if we know they don't have a computer and internet access. So think about things that they can do, and even maybe give them the recommendation, and then also add a few suggestions of how they can use that. So if you are talking about, if you give them a list of books that would be good for this particular level reader. Then tell them the name of the book, the author of the book, and suggest the library is open. On these days, the library is a great place to go get them for free. So um, try to give them an idea of how to do this. We don't want to leave them floundering and not really give them a good idea of how to actually implement these recommendations that you're telling them to do. Um, that was it for our assignments this week. You don't have a discussion board this week. The reason is I want you to really focus on these two assignments and really review what is expected of you. Check out that rubric, and I have high expectations that you will do that. Um, our extra point activity this week is to go into the ongoing tutoring discussion. I'd like you to provide an article, website, or activity that is meant to help ELL children either from the emergent, beginning, fledgling, or developing stages. This might be something that you're actually researching for yourself anyway for these papers, so why not go ahead and post it into the ongoing tutoring discussion, get a point for that, get a point for posting in the ongoing tutoring discussion, because as you know, you are required to post in there throughout the course. So it's really like a triple whammy this week. Um, Thank you again for your time and for reviewing this video. I really look forward to checking out the assessment-based instruction assignments for you and getting back that feedback as quickly as I can. And if you have any questions, as always, please email me, post in the questions for the professor forum, or email me and set up a time where we can talk or Skype, and I'm happy to do that anytime. Thank you again, and have a wonderful time this Module 6.